Now, I don't really like talking about drama since I've been in it over a year, but I think today I kind of have to. Over the past year, I've been belittled, harassed, and witch hunted by a small group of YouTubers that have made my life a living hell. And for the longest time, I've been afraid to say really anything about this because I knew they would come back and cause some more drama, then my notifications would be flooded again, Skype messages would be going off, and there'd just be more shit. I should have stopped this when it first started, but I didn't really know how to, and I just sort of fed the fire. I want to say right now that I am not asking for pity, I am not asking for your sympathy or anything. I just want everyone to actually know what happened other than being fed false information by everybody else. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you said it was false information, then that would mean you're wrong, right? And, I mean, yeah, that's really what it looks like, because it's literally me and maybe a few other of my friends that really know what happened versus a bunch of other YouTubers. And other people, I guess. So where do we begin? Well, let's start off with the beginning. The actual beginning of my channel. Now, for those unaware, I originally started out as a Let's Play channel, and I played every new game that came out as soon as they came out. So I'd be pumping out playthrough after playthrough after playthrough. And a lot of people didn't really discover me from there. They actually discovered me because I was a mod on the Game Explained Twitch chat. Now, at that point, I had made a bunch of friends in that chat, and most of them had come over and watched me stream, because that's what I did before YouTube, and they sort of followed me over to Twitter and then to YouTube. So I did Let's Plays for about a couple months, and then I published my review of Sonic Boom, which got immediately popular since it was the first one out on YouTube. It's a pretty bad review, but, I mean, that's really what kickstarted my channel. Then as time went on and I published more and more reviews, I became friends with 3 other, about my level, size channels. Now, throughout this video, I'm not going to be using any names. I'm going to be just referring to these people as just people, I guess, because I don't want any of you to go and attack these people. So I became friends with that group of YouTubers, and for about 6 months or so, it was going along pretty well. We created a group chat, and we were talking, and, you know, just having a good time, and I think it was around January of 2015 when things started really to fall apart. In January, I told one of the people in that chat that I was planning a Paper Mario retrospective. Now, the problem with that is that he was also planning a Paper Mario video series, and he told me that my channel would overshadow his, which, I mean, looking back on it now, I should have definitely just been like, alright, you can just do it, whatever. But since I was too prideful, I said, no, I'm going to do this Paper Mario retrospective, and we're just going to do them at the same time. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But it was a big deal. We got in a Skype chat where I said some mean things to him, and I was like, what the fuck are you on about? This is not anything major. And I'll admit I said that. That was a year ago. But, you know, I still said it. I still said swears to him. So then, before this, I'm getting ahead of myself with that bit. Before this, I was in a larger group chat with a bunch of smaller YouTubers, some bigger than me, some smaller than me, but we were all at the same level. One day goes by, and immediately, that's when things fall apart with that. So this guy posts in the chat, and he says, he posts a Reddit link, and he says, I want you all to upvote this, or something. I don't remember what he exactly said, but it was like, I posted my video to Reddit, and I want you all to upvote it. So being the ethical guy that I am, and looking back on this, I should have kept my mouth shut. I said, it's against Reddit's TOS to ask for upvotes, and I don't think that's right. This led to an hour-long debate argument where it was me versus everyone in that group chat, where I said, you don't have to self-promote to get popular, you don't have to go to Reddit, you don't have to post your stuff, and that was me back then, and I was on their ass about that. And once again, I probably shouldn't have said anything, because looking back on that now, I don't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, vote manipulation is a problem on Reddit, but posting your video to Reddit and being an active member in any community is not really that bad in hindsight. So anyways, after that, I told everyone, you know what, I'm out. So I left the group chat. at that point, those 3 guys that I was friends with in that other chat, one of them was in it. So I was like, they were dicks to me, and then that guy went back to them and told them what I said, and then they got mad, and then a bunch of them messaged me after the whole thing and after the Paper Mario fiasco thing. So it was just a big shitstorm for me, and if I had kept my mouth shut and I had not said anything about the Paper Mario thing, things would have been different. Ever since then, they've been following me around the internet and basically stalking me, witch hunting me, and doing whatever they can to make my life absolutely miserable. I'm sure that's not their intention, but that's just what it seems like to me after all the shit that has happened. So I've been at them and arguing with them because they've baited me into getting worked up, which I shouldn't have gotten worked up from it. So it's been just this never-ending stream of Twitter drama for a year, Skype drama too, YouTube drama where they've gone to my comment section, downvoted my shit, not downvoted, disliked, but it's just ridiculous. And I've been, not saying anything about it, and I've been keeping quiet because I don't want to give anybody any popularity, and everybody who I have asked for help, they've told me just, ignore it and it will pass, but it hasn't passed for a year. And I haven't really interacted with them at all. And so then, after January and that falling out occurred, things kept happening small little outbursts and drama here and there, and then it went to Splatoon. So for those unaware, when I published my Splatoon review, I didn't publish it at the correct time. I was given wrong information, and I broke the embargo. And I will say that is entirely my fault for not checking with the person. Nevertheless, when that whole thing went down, a bunch of shitstorm occurred with all these YouTubers just tweeting out and subtweeting me, and it was just not a good time. That's really why there are so many dislikes. It's because those same small YouTubers saw this opportunity where they could go, oh, he fucked up. There he goes again. Just fuck it up every day. And then they just sort of went on. And then they got bigger YouTubers to take part in this, from what I've seen and from the Skype messages I got. And that group chat that I left, it's created an outlet for these people to, convene and, say things about me behind my back, which I don't care about too much anymore. But for, a couple months ago in March, April, May, I was really paranoid that any YouTuber I talked to was just going to use me and manipulate me, get as much information out of me as they could, go back to this Skype group, and then just try to destroy me. And that's what actually happened with one of them. So I became friends with this other YouTuber. I'm not really sure how it happened. He's a pretty big channel, and we were talking and we were friends, got in Skype conversations, but he was friends with those other people. So in the back of my mind, I was always thinking that maybe he was saying something about me or something, and that's really what happened, as you can see today. Today what happened is that person published a piece about me, and they accused me of doing multiple things and had all of their friends, the same friends that have been working and trying to make fun of me, harass me, and all that jazz. And it's just been fun because they've created this big shitstorm. I just find it so ironic that I remember in February I had this big Skype conversation with one of the guys in that Skype chat, and I was like, I just don't want to have drama. I don't want any public drama. If we have any beef, let's settle this privately, because I don't want to go to Twitter anymore. I don't want to have my followers and my friends see this, because if we have any beef, let's just settle in on Skype, let's settle on Twitter, and, I thought we were going to do that every time. I remember one of them told me that they would be no bother to me at all, they wouldn't mention me again, they wouldn't ever acknowledge me, but they did, and I'm not that upset about it, but I kind of am. So all of this has been going on for a year, and it's been this machine of spreading lies that I don't own Splatoon, I never got my review copy, even though I've proved multiple times that I do. That 2, I don't finish the games I play when, again, I have prove them that I have. I'm trying to think right now if I have started drama, and I think there are a couple instances, because I know somebody will say it in the comment section that I did start drama, and I'm not going to deny that I didn't. In March, I believe, I saw someone commenting a lot, and then I went to them and I said, because I was also commenting on the same time, and these same people that were in the group chat, said, "You're only doing that for publicity," and I was like, well, he's doing it for publicity too, and then we got in a little argument. So back to today with this one YouTuber. This one YouTuber has been really, really awful to me. I'm trying to remember all the details that happened at this point, but this is about, like, the basics of what happened. We were friends, and then he was also friends with the other people in that Skype group chat, and then he sort of participated in the drama with them, and then I was like, why did you do that? I thought we were friends, and then he was like, okay, we're actually friends, never mind. And then things went on pretty well, so this one YouTuber, we had a falling out where he said to one of my friends that he had public information of me, and he also said that if anything ever goes wrong, just to have it, he wants to have my personal information. And then, after that, I got doxxed. So I told him on Twitter, I said, what you just did in saying that you have personal information over my head is not okay. And then after that, I blocked him, and I moved on. Because that's what my friend Exo Paradigm Gamer suggested I did. So for about a couple more months, everything was peaceful. So everything was peaceful when I started doing my Spyro retrospectives and told everyone I was stopping my current reviews. I figured that if I was out of the spotlight, if I did just things I really wanted to work on other than, like, modern reviews, which I do because I still love doing them, but I also want to, like, have everybody know what a good game is and whether they should purchase it. So I did that thing with Spyro, and everything was good. So after that, one of his friends came to me, and I believe he was asking about what happened. So I was like, this is what happened from my point of view. And then he was like, okay, do you want me to say anything to him? And I was like, just tell him I forgive him, and maybe we can start being friends. Because a couple months had passed, and I really don't want to hold any grudges, so that's what my mindset was. So I unblocked him, he unblocked me, and we started to DM again a bit. At this point, I'm thinking, I go to my friend Exo, and I'm like, am I doing the right thing? And he's like, no, he's a liar, you shouldn't do that, you're making a bad decision. But I'm like, I think that he's still a good person, so I'm just gonna keep going with him. So we're, like, talking a little bit. I followed him on Twitter. I'm like, he asked if somebody needed to do a Mario thing, and I was like, I can voice it if you want. And he's like, sure, I'll send over the script whenever you need it. So I'm like, okay. So then as we talked more and more, it began clear to me that he was trying to bait me to say something about other big YouTubers that I probably shouldn't say. He was making fun of other YouTubers, and I was like, okay, I'll just play along, and I'm just gonna, like, type, oh, okay, lol, here's a tweet, oh, cringeworthy. So I did that. And then he went around to my friends, like my friend Alex Sidequest Gamer. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, but I know who you are and you're my friend, but I don't know how to pronounce your username. I'm sorry. So he went to him. I'll show the DM right now. He went to him and was like, do you know any information on Haydox? I know you do. And he also went around to other people asking the same thing, because little did I know he was fabricating this whole document which was going to expose me and defame me. He said many times in the past, by the way, that he was very envious of me, which I don't understand since he has many more subscribers than I do, and I'm, like, one of the most hated reviewers on the internet, so I don't know about that. So anyways, he published this document. He said, I don't want to be scared anymore, where he told me I had made this account basically telling him to kill himself. Which, by the way, I didn't. And, I mean, you can believe whatever you want, and you can read that document if you want, but I know in good faith, in my mind, that I would never, ever tell someone to kill themselves. And the reason being is because I know what it's like to be told that countless times in real life and online by the same people he's friends with and by other people in real life. And I know what it's like to actually be affected by people who have committed suicide. That is something I will never wish on a person because I'm not that type of person to do that. I've had to struggle with my own things with suicide and all that jazz, and I'm not going to wish that upon someone. And the fact that somebody would accuse me of that is just very low, and I mean, if you want to believe that, that's your prerogative, but this is the truth. I did not create that account. So then he said also in this document that I gave him a bunch of Twitch links because he has like a view bot spam thing that like spams the chat, and I wanted to see it like go really fast. So I was like, oh, here's a random guy, you should test it out. And sure, I'm not necessarily in the right for saying that, but that's also like not a bad thing since we were in a Skype call and he was already doing that to multiple channels that he knew. And the channels that I posted, I think I knew most of them, and I knew that they had a chat thing so nothing would really happen. And like he was like, yeah, nah, we shouldn't do that. So I was like, alright, whatever, let's just talk. And then we did. We talked. And that's what happened in that Skype call. Then he goes on to say that there are a bunch of like alternate accounts that I've made. And that's another big insult that, it's not insult, accusation that's been thrown my way, that I've created multiple alt accounts to boost my ratings. Which I think is ironic, because it's clear to me, seeing his, like, alternate Reddit accounts and everything that he has, that he's accusing me of that when I don't have them. A lot of people will say, well, reddit.com/user/KAADO has been posting all of your videos. And I'm like, yeah, I know, she told me that she was going to post all my videos and wanted to know if it was okay, so I was like, sure. So that's one thing. The other thing is he said all these Twitter accounts that have been harassing them with my name on it are mine, which they clearly aren't. The account that specifically attacked him in December that told him to OD and kill himself, that was in December, right? Well, another thing to add to that is the fact that in December I was in the hospital for the most part. So I don't see how I could have created that. So that just about does it. And if you want to believe what I'm saying, then you can. But I'm just kind of sick and tired of this happening over and over. All of this shit has been happening for a year. All of this drama, and it's awful, and it's just not right. It's not good for anyone to be like this, and no matter how many times I try to reconcile, and trust me, I have tried, and tried my best, after some time I say, let's forget about it, let's move on, we can even be friends still. And then it's like all of that, and it's just rough, because you have this feeling that nobody believes you, and everybody believes this other thing that you know in your heart is not true. And it's just frustrating. It really is. In the future, I don't know how to prevent drama, because it's one of my least favorite things that I've always been caught up in, that people say, oh, you're creating it, when they bait you into it. So it's just this cycle, and I shouldn't even be like giving this whole situation attention, but it just needs to be said. So yeah, I just hope you guys believe me, and take care. I hope you have a great day, everyone, and yeah, bye.